Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journey without constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering our listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, struggles, and transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth and to be moved, to be inspired, and discover that we're not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle, and I am the owner of Aerial Jade. Aerial Jade is a hub of circus arts. I'm an aerialist. Essentially, I'm the bird of the circus. I'm also an educator, so I teach other people how to do it too. And I have got to a point where I'm educating others to be teachers as well. So I just want to put that in my startup sentence moving forward. And I am here with my wonderful co-host.
Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Duval. I am the owner of Valüd Productions. My company works to produce and implement video marketing strategies, helping to make you more successful with your business, turning strangers into clients using video content and social media. I am super excited to be joined with my co-host today.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Trinity Baker. I am a mindset coach. I take clients that I have the blessing to work with out of survival mode and into a life that is thriving, that they are excited to wake up to and live every single day. Owner of the Trinity Baker LLC. And I am so pumped for our guest today. Mr. Wayne, can you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. Wayne Demers. I've been in financial services industry for more than 20 years. I run multiple businesses and love working with businesses to help them grow on their different aspects, whether that's increase their revenue, increase their profit, expand to new locations, or even decrease their locations. It's all business growth to me.
Love that. Love that. And Wayne, I'm excited to have you here today because you have such a passion for helping businesses grow. And when I think of helping businesses grow, what you're really doing is helping people who are called to serve in the way that they're called to serve larger, bigger, better. And I love that. I love that. I think of the ripple that you have in this world, Wayne.
Yeah, it's I'm lucky that I get to do what I do every single day. I woke up a few years back and was like excited for the day, and I was like, why am I excited? And I learned that, working with businesses, everything that I do, the conversations that I have, that business growth side of it is different for everybody. It, like you said, usually it's growing, doing more, creating more revenue, creating more profits, those types of things. But I've also seen one of those patterns being niching down. So I've seen businesses usually in the first 1 to 3 years, most businesses are like, give me anything, give me everything. I want everything for clients. I'll take it all. And then year 3 comes around, if they've made it there and they're like, whoa, I don't want to work with these types of clients anymore. I really want to focus in on this, or my passions in this area. And so a lot of times I'm starting that conversation from day one when I'm working with them on their business. Like, I get it. I understand you got to pay the bills. There's everything that's there. But if you can be more efficient and get to that spot faster, why not? Save money, save time.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, niching down. One of the things that comes to mind with that, I mean, of course, like the marketing message when you know who you're talking to, but also there's a couple different ways to niche down where you can either niche down to the ideal like client that you're talking to, or you can niche down in the process of what you do. Because like maybe there's multiple different processes of how you help people in your industry, but your niche is you do it this one specific way and you help a whole bunch of people. Or it's niching down where it's like, okay, I'm specifically working with chiropractors or something like that. So I think I'm a big proponent of niching down. I love that.
I think it was for me learning my niche, or at least committing to that concept, built confidence in terms of competitors because they're not me and I'm not them. And only really honing in on what I offer to my clients and knowing what type of clients I offer myself to build that confidence. And that took years though. Like, I mean, I'm just writing that confidence out now, like really just now, slightly. So it's definitely the process, as you were saying, but it's nice because it builds confidence. I feel like.
What do you think that common process looks like, Wayne?
It's different for everybody for sure. Daniel, you right to the confidence side of it. That's a huge part to it, right? Because you have to be confident in whatever you do. And if you're not confident, whoever you're working with can smell that. As much as, you don't want them to, they can hear that, they can see that, they can feel that. And so it usually is a 1 to 3 year process. As much as, I'd like to try to push that up a little bit faster. Unfortunately, it just does take 1 to 3. I've seen it happen up to 5 years. But even like, change, people don't like change. That's the huge, Grant, what you were talking about relative to process. With everything that's happened over the past 4 years, 5 years with the pandemic, what we're on, with Zoom and WebEx and all these different platforms, a lot of businesses have taken to growing in that way as well. How can I do this virtually? I hated it when it came out. I just was like, nope, not doing it. I've been doing in person for, at that point, 15, 20 years almost. And I was so used to the face-to-face in person in my office. And I was like, after about a month, I was like, you know what? This actually could be a great tool for me to be more efficient and to help more people faster and throughout every single week. So I've harnessed the technology. It's the reason why I meet every week virtually, is because I can see that many more people. And I don't have to worry about traveling on the road. But it's definitely one of those things that businesses have learned to take advantage of and use to their advantage. A great tool for every business, really.
Yeah.
I think you have to be in a growth mindset to even see these opportunities. You know what I mean? Remember when the pandemic hit, I was working with people who had literally done their business in person for, like you said, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And it took them a year or two to even be open to the ability or opportunity to work remotely and use all these platforms that we're blessed with today. And so many of them said to me, because I took right off, like I had just started my business. Virtual was fine with me. That's absolutely fine. So I took right off with all these platforms that we are blessed to use. And they saw my growth and they were like, well, how do you do it? I'm like, well, you got to use what the universe is freaking providing you. Like, you got to open to the possibilities of different. And I think that that's one thing that sets people back, intentionally or unintentionally, is not being open to different.
Right.
Yep.
Like, right? Like what
Huge barrier.
Yeah. I think that's so true. Like, being able to evolve as business is like one of the biggest things that, like, when you talk about business growth, and like it is exciting to see, like you mentioned, Wayne, like all these businesses starting to adapt to this online space and whatnot, and like it's still really much in its infancy as far as the potential of what we're doing in this online space. And I know for myself personally, like I'm really doubling down into the online world. And like as a video person, people are like, oh, well, how do you video in virtually? And like we've developed ways to help people doing that and utilizing all these tools that are, like you mentioned, Trinity, that are at our fingertips, that we have the opportunity to grow. But I think it does take that confidence, like you mentioned, Danielle, to like see this opportunity. It's like, okay, how is my business going to evolve and move with what is here?
I feel like I was prepped. So I worked for a financial institution from home. I was one of the first people to ever do it. First 100, but it was America based. And so I feel like I was prepped for how to live that lifestyle. And I was a new mom. So trust me, I was like craving it. However, and then I built a website, I painted for a year and built a website. And then COVID happened. So I had totally built my business where it needed to go versus the gallery route. So intuitively, I was prepared. My angels had my back, my gut, whatever it is people want to refer to it. But I'm an aerialist now, full time for 2 years, three-ish, if you include how much I was working out my own body. So that's different, right? So that's like a one-to-one safety, athletic. Like, so I'm just now starting to transition my business because I have aerialists who have worked with me personally all over. But I am a testament to its growth, hands down. I just went to level 2, soon mastery, aerial school over Zoom. I had the Bates College to myself for 4 days. And on Zoom, I sat there with a silk with some of the top aerialists, globally standard, people all over the world, Philippines to America, you name it. And we're all sitting there getting globally certified via Zoom. There was 4 people in person, and there was a pregnant woman carrying an infant. Because we're getting the information, we're able to demo, and then the ones that couldn't physically, like the woman with the baby, one guy had short rigging, and I got injured halfway through. So it actually worked to my benefit, right? That this was how it was. And, but then we send in our homework, and there's no denying our growth. So we're learning from the expert, getting the information as raw as it can be given to us still. And so what a beautiful thing. Like, I can't even handle that. Like,
I think,
I just thought my career was over when I moved to Maine. When they closed down the Circus Conservatory of America, I had a job. I worked in North Yarmouth Academy. I had work. And they hired me over Facebook. They're like, oh, a Maine aerialist? Done. I don't have to fly you here. And they closed because parking costs more than the classes. The overhead for an aerialist is pretty much considered, in my eyes, death to the business. If you have too much overhead, then you're overworked. You're only in the last couple of years. It's just not going to work out. That's just what it is. I got to see the business of it not work, which was cool.
And you needed that. You needed to see that and to feel that sort of defeat in a way in order to embrace the virtual aspect of it. And so I'm interested to see, Wayne, like, run us through, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, so you could totally kill me if you want. Run us through like some common setbacks that you see some of the businesses you work with overcome. You have so much experience. I feel like you could give some hope to us people who think that we are having some setbacks, and we're like, okay, if they made it through that, we can make it through anything.
So one of the biggest pieces of advice I've ever gotten in my entire career was get uncomfortable, get comfortable being uncomfortable. So, and that's pretty much for any business owner across the board. If you're in an uncomfortable situation, you're in the right situation to grow. And that's like how I know I'm doing something right, is like, I'm uncomfortable. All right, cool. This is what we should be doing. So that's something for entrepreneurs across the board. Doesn't make a difference. And Zoom has been one of those things for a lot of folks, for sure. The other thing I would say is, going along those same lines, every business owner feels like they have to do everything in their business, from the bookkeeping to the billing to name something. That is all on their shoulders. And there's no reason to do that. I get it. It makes sense if you're like, in most people's heads, it's like, it's going to cost me less money. In all reality, it ends up costing them more money, or they end up double or triple or quadruple paying, when they could have just hired the right mentor, hired the right person right off the bat, save that time, save that money, and move on. The 1 to 3 year mark, like I was saying before, for businesses, kind of learning their ways. I call it like learning how to crawl, is sped up automatically because of all the technology that we have, all the different resources that we have. Now the fact, exactly what you were talking about, Danielle, where you can access those professionals online via Zoom, and you're paying a Zoom monthly subscription, and it's probably way cheaper than having to drive from southern Maine to anywhere else, quite frankly, because there's another 8 hours north of me here, and then you have everything else that's around the country. It's less expenses for you to do that, and it's just less time. So it makes a lot of sense. It's worth it more often than not. The other thing is when you're working with your advisors, and when I say advisors, when I say to most folks, do you have a financial advisor? They're like, yes, absolutely. And I'm like, who's that person? They're like, oh, I have an accountant. Like, that's one type of advisor. There's accountants, there's attorneys, there's bankers, and there's different types of mentors that you can find in various areas to help you out with growth. Like yourself, mindset coach, Trinity, you and I have a lot of similar conversations with folks when it comes down to it. You should have a marketing coach. When it comes to somebody like Graham, exactly what it is, you should have people doing that instead of just trying to figure it out yourself. I did it for my own website. It was a waste of time, to be 100% honest with you. I wish I would have hired somebody right off the bat to just do it, spent the money and got it all done. I would have seen more sales. I would have had less anguish from doing the website, and I would have been able to spend more time with my family and my kids, looking back on it. So those are just some tips. I mean,
I love that, Wayne. I love that. I love that you just pointed out like the different types of advisors. They're business partners. We're all folk, like every single advisor is a business partner. And every single business partner is there to help you. And so you mentioned like Graham, the marketing aspect, like totally on my to-do list as I'm growing, like not something I want. I love making the videos because they're my message that I'm divinely getting to share with people. But it's technology aspect that I'm like, man, I cannot wait till I could just send all 80 of these videos to someone to edit them for me and post them. And so I don't even have to worry about it. But here is something I have learned because I have taken on a lot of business entrepreneurs as under mindset coaching. And what I'm seeing is that when you harness the power of your mindset, you can quantum leap. So you can go from that 1 to 3 year mark and do that in a year. And so what that next level has been, I've been realizing and implementing personally, but also with the clients, is that it's much more than just the business aspect of it. So like for me, I hired a personal trainer to teach me how to really maximize the time I'm actually spending moving so that I can take what I may do in 5 hours a week and make it 3 hours a week. That's much more productive and allows me to then gain those 2 hours a week back. And so Danielle, you are helping those people because remember, we have like at a doctor, you have nurses who work 12, 14, 16-hour shifts. And so although they may not be business owners, you have to allow them to maximize their time.
Well, I attract strong people.
Yeah.
Internally. It doesn't have to look like it from the outside yet. I attract strong people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you like chime in for a second?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. So when I worked for the financial institution from online that we were just talking about, you had to spend $50,000 or more for you to get me. They would have me waiting 10 minutes, 20 minutes, didn't matter. So I started intentionally looking at their spending patterns to understand the mindset of people that have this money. First of all, they knew more about their account than I did. Always. They knew all their benefits, the smallest gains. They were so pleasant. I almost never was yelled at. And even when something was wrong. And I noticed they spend the majority of their money on specialty coaches. So whether that be the fitness person, the financial advisor, they all spend their money on other professionals. I swear. So only my homeschooling network made me remember that I had studied that because I had somehow like not remembered, and seeing them have access to me during the day. And then they're going to piano. And then they have the gymnastics place all empty, all to themselves. And then they're going here. And I remembered. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I
So
love that. There's a guy, for if any of our listeners hasn't checked out yet, Alex Hermosi, big inspiration of mine. And he talks about like what you're talking about, Danielle, where like if you're a high performing individual, investing not in the S&P 500 to get a return, but invest in the S and me, and investing in those like things to help learn, because in the long run, those skills and those coaches are going to give you a way higher return on the investment than like whatever the S&P 500 is, like 5% a year or whatever it is. I don't even know if that's right, but you know what I mean? Like if you have these coaches that say you invest 5,000, but now all of a sudden because of that, you're able to generate 20,000 in sales or whatever it is. And so then if you're looking for more of the long term, you can, obviously it's important to invest in stuff, but like it's important to focus on those growth aspects, like personally, which also helps with the business. And I think it goes exactly like what you're talking about, Wayne, just like there's so many levels of business growth, whether it's like the actual business itself, like, you know, you're cutting costs and working on overhead or different locations, or it's the owner or the team, or, you know, figuring out different processes to be more efficient, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely, and as you grow, you know, another important lesson I learned was to make sure you have mentors. I was very opposed to having a mentor earlier in my career because I was like, well, I don't need anybody else. I'm really good at what I do. I was totally arrogant about it. I was like, this is like, you know, this is me. I don't need to go to somebody else. And when you find that there are mentors out there, there's a lot of, and not only find them, but you have to find the right one for you. Where you want to go, what do you want to do, what areas you want to focus in on. You know, one of my areas of focus, other than the world of finance, is really being a father and being a great father. So I found a couple of folks that I knew that were great parents and stuff of that nature, and had those conversations with them and learned out there's a lot of things that, you know, you only see the end result. You don't see everything that goes to making the sausage. You just see the sausage. And so learning that side of it from your mentors or from those mentors is huge, you know, mental release. It's a huge like thing for yourself that can release a lot of anguish. And Danielle, to your point, you know, learning from those people in the world of finance, there's people out there that will teach you what you want to learn, what you need to learn. It's literally what I do every single day. It's whether or not they're the right fit for you and what you want to do, where you want to go, which is up to yourself. You know, whether they are that right fit. So there's different skill sets for every single business. And as your business grows, whether you're teaching or coaching somebody, right, that's a different skill set. Whether you have employees or whether it's just yourself, different skill set. Those are completely different. Yeah. What was that? I'm sorry.
Bats. I have a student assistant now. So, you know, it's similar. It's like the step before that kind of happens, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm just now kind of adjusting to that new role.
You have to.
So I felt that when you said that, I was like, yes.
Yeah, there's all these different skills you have to learn, and it's hard enough being a business owner in general, right? There's so many things that are there. The thing is, you can make your life easier by finding mentors and by finding advisors. You know, advisor and mentor, I using that as two separate terms, but a lot of times they mix.
Even coach or trainer, I feel like they're all very much like a fluffed word for educator.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, you're really right. They're all synonyms. So it's just pick one. But whatever word makes you happier, pick it.
I think the idea of investing in yourself is not what people think. So investing in myself isn't necessarily, well, definitely me continuing my education or whatever else, but investing in myself is investing in other people that know how to do what I need to be done. Like investing in other people is investing in self. That's so when you read like Rich Dad Poor Dad, for example, and he's like, don't pay your credit card bill, go back to school. So, okay, that's very vague. So, and that's the beginning. So what happens when you started to live in that mindset? What that happens is that really means you're investing in someone else's expertise as you're investing in your own. And that process never stops. It just grows into different funnels. But again, it's a mature way to how you grow into it, that 1 to 3 years, like you grow into that. That's the next step.
And I'm all about focusing on what are you being guided to? If you're being put in front of a mentor, if you're being put in front of someone, like I hope that this podcast, there's many things that we hope for this podcast, the mission for this podcast. One of those is I hope that we introduce our listeners, you who are listening, to mentors. Like had so many of them on, and I hope that we can put you in the space of them. And we do every episode. We've got Wayne here today with all of his knowledge and expertise. We do that every single week. You continuously have the three of us every single week with our knowledge and expertise. And I hope that we can normalize that for you, that when you invest in yourself, you invest in someone else's expertise. That's where quantum leaps happen. We cannot do this alone. And I'm all about following that divine guidance. And when you follow the divine guidance of where you're being led to, whether it be this podcast, there is something there for you. And you're showing the universe or your higher power, whatever it is, that you're ready, that you're willing.
I love that. And it just makes me so excited because I'm really, like you said, you can't do this alone. And right now, like, there's a huge push in all of this in like specific online platforms that allow that to happen, like community. You can't do it alone. The education piece so that you can invest in yourself. And I mean, I'm just super excited to be starting my school community, which is exactly that, bringing people together to work, and iron sharpens iron, and, knowing that you can't do it alone. And so I think that that's such a key piece, and there's a big push for it right now, especially that I'm seeing just in the online space of like where business is evolving, where, this is an opportunity. It's kind of a blue ocean right now where having that ability to bring your people together, bring those people that you want to attract, have that community, be able to help them, and like let them invest in themselves by investing in you as well. So I hope that our listeners kind of realize that there is a lot of opportunity, and you don't have to be that like crazy far ahead of everybody. You just have to be 10% more further along than someone who's looking to do it, because you're kind of thinking of it as like walking through a path. Like, you're just the first person ahead cutting through the woods. And so, you can tell that person that, hey, there's a rock right there. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like you're already at the top of the mountain. You're just cutting through the brush before them and letting them know, like, hey, don't step on that branch. Oh, yeah, do this thing because I just walked it, And so I think that's super exciting.
I learned in your net.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've learned so many things from wealthy folks. I'm lucky enough that I've worked in some very affluent communities, both in Massachusetts as well as in Maine. And, I get to ask them those really tough questions of like, so what do you do? How do you do this? Like those things. And those are exactly it. I'd rather learn from somebody else. Don't get me wrong. There's mistakes I need to make in order for me to learn from them best. But there's other mistakes where I don't need to learn those. Myself, I can learn those from somebody else. And then exactly to your point, Graham, you're spot on with that. You have tons of resources out there. Don't be afraid to ask for help with something. I think a lot of people really have this mindset like they can't ask for help. It's a bad thing. It shows weakness. And in all reality, it just shows you're a great student. It's the other side of it.
It shows your dedication. If you're willing to be vulnerable and say, yo, I need help with this, that shows your dedication to your vision and your the way you serve. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. Like, Graham, I mean, he taught me that my videos need caption. Can you imagine me doing videos for the past year not using captions? Like, they would have been so much less successful in spreading my message. And that is,
TikToks are freaking thriving. You're gonna go viral soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm finally in the thousands of views, and I'm like,
that's but even hundreds and hundreds of likes, and you were just toggling along, and like I'm like, I get too personal. I feel so insulted. We're such like,
literally, this is what clicked. It's the willingness to be vulnerable as hell and not give a shit what other people think.
Exactly.
Like, I realize I have to, so I can't expect a spotlight if I don't want to live in it and if I don't feel safe in it. So I don't think I felt safe sharing parts of myself. And so just living behind like the mask kind of concept, right? We all have one, so there's no denying that. And so that's one of the things that I've learned from you is that I have to accept what would happen if people are learning from me and are viewing my stuff. And that's been a mindset shift I've learned from you. And you can see your results clearly if you follow her, that it's working in her favor for sure.
It's hard. None of what we are talking about is easy. And I really hope that that's what our listeners are hearing is that like, we're not in this because it's easy. We're in this because we have a passion to serve and we are dedicated. Like me personally, I wake up even when I don't want to and I do what I don't want to do and I be vulnerable when I don't want to be vulnerable and I show up when I don't feel like I can show up because it is my calling and I don't have an option.
I think that is awesome. And it goes back to kind of what we were talking about before the podcast started. And Wayne, like you were saying that, you know, if I won the lottery yesterday, would I still keep doing what I'm doing? And yeah,
my wife wouldn't agree with that. My wife wouldn't agree with this twice. Yeah, I would. It's really one of those things that I truly enjoy doing every single day is helping businesses grow. And, you know, I would do it more part-time.
of course.
But I mean, it's really like one of those things where I get excited just like I'm going to be meeting with a business owner today. How can I help you grow your business? One, they look at me like, are you crazy? Because like, first of all, it's my business, not yours. And why would you be excited about helping me out? And it's really, really cool to see like those aha moments or like those breakthrough moments as you all run into, right? Yeah. You see that when somebody achieves something they don't think they can do. And you're like, I know you can do this. Like, yeah, it's one of the best things in the world, right?
It's like the currency.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we need to hashtag. This is another hashtag.
You have a lot.
This is the currency. When you are in the serving world, that is the currency. Now we're not saying that we don't get paid, but that is what gets us through the times where we all see people struggle in so many ways. Danielle, mentally, physically. Wayne, like you see we all see struggles in many different ways. That is the currency that keeps us going because let me tell you, one client win will get me through a week of pushing results.
So I just gave Ariel Jr. an opportunity to perform. So not only did she perform, but she was featured in a newspaper. The look in her mother's eyes gave me for months.
Yeah.
Look, she came up to me and she was half crying, saying how grateful she was that she met me.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like, okay, so I can do another 2 months of this shit. It's like, I'm still like, holy,
yeah. Universe.
You don't know the impact, and this is the thing a lot of people don't realize, you don't know the impact that you can have on somebody or somebody's life just by one little thing. Just something as simple as that, right? It's now all of a sudden she builds that confidence. When something comes up down the road, now she has that much more confidence to do something that she wouldn't have wanted to do or she didn't feel like she could. Who knows? It's so cool.
Exactly.
I think one of the things other than our service, you know, the way that we are with service, I think one of the huge things too is we all have our own languages. And I don't mean that from the aspect of English or Spanish or anything like that. I mean, in each one of our areas of expertise, there's this language, and we're the interpreters for most folks to help them understand that language. Finance, I know I learned it a long time ago when I was having a conversation with a rocket scientist, literal rocket scientist from MIT. And if I haven't told you guys the story, I'll tell you at some other point in time, because it was the moment that I realized that I understood finance and I could explain it to folks and figured out how to explain it to folks for the years I've been in it. We're all translators in our own industries, and it's really important that we we have those conversations and that folks ask the questions. Otherwise, they're not going to grow.
We had a doctor here. We had a doctor on here who said something that being a doctor essentially meant she learned a different language of communicating, and that she wanted to break that stigma and teach us the language of medicine. And you just kind of nailed that. I just love that. I just want to point that out, that she said that. And then as I went back to training to become a master aerialist, so the training's different now. I'm learning about nervous systems and how to speak only and teach. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I just completely agree. I love that you said that. So what's the language to your niche or joy in your life? And if you determine that, then you have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And
nice job.
Here is one message I think that we need to make clear, is that we're given this language to learn. We're given these skills to share. We're given the ability to serve, and we're given it in order to monetize it, to create the life that we are thriving in. And so often I talk to business owners who are like, well, who am I to make $1 million a year? Who am I to hit 6 figures? They have such they have doubt that they aren't good enough. And it's like, you have these skills for a reason. They are given to you. Like, it is a blessing. And there is a way, if you have the skills, there is a way to 100% monetize to where you want to go, regardless of whether that is 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, whether that's 6 houses, 1 house. Like, all of your dreams, if you have a dream and you have a desire, there is 100% a way to get there. And if you have a skill that you're not monetizing, you're leaving it on the table.
100%. I love that. I think that is a great spot to kind of leave our listeners with, where we've had a lot of awesome conversations today. Like, don't do this alone. We hope this podcast can help be that kickstart of a place that you realize that you don't need to do this alone. You have the skills to help people and speak that language to your people and attract them in, and then being able to monetize it. And had an awesome guest who can help with that monetization of things. So it's been a great episode today. Again, my name is Graham Duval. I'm the owner of Valüd Productions. We do video marketing strategies, and you can find me on social media at VALUD Productions. Same thing, valudproductions.com. Joined with my awesome co-host this morning.
Hey, it's Trinity Baker, Mindset Coach. Go follow me on your favorite social media platform. As Danielle so graciously mentioned, I do lots of inspiring reels and just messages that I am getting divine guidance to share, and you may be that person who needs to hear it. So go follow me, The Trinity Baker, and my website, thetrinitybaker.com, was just revamped, and I have a brand new free 5-day training on there. So go take it and learn the power of your mindset. Joined here with my co-host.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm the owner of Aerial Jade, LLC. You can find me at aerialjade.com. You can live chat with me there. So that's one of my favorite features. You can also find me on major platforms. I also just want to say, what would your higher self design your life to be? And when you feel scared or doubtful, envision that person designing this existence for you. And I promise the answers are there. And we are here with our awesome co-host, who I woke up early for.
I'm Wayne Demers. I'm in the financial industry. I'm looking to help businesses grow. It's seriously the best thing I can do every single day. My email is there on my picture, as well as my cell phone number. Please don't be afraid to reach out. And I have to say, thank you guys for having me on here. If you have not already connected with Graham, Danielle, or Trinity for their areas of specialty, you are missing out 100%. It is something you should be doing as much as possible. Try to get on their calendars as much as possible, because you are guaranteed to learn something new every single time you guys chat. And thank you for having me.
Wayne, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Unfiltered Path podcast.